you have to move about because of urgent business, if you have to move about to secure the necessaries of life, if you have to move about to get some exercise for your own health and sanity, that you do so observing strictly the hygiene practices that are recommended.
The hygiene practices Prime Minister Andrew Holness is referring to include frequent hand washing with soap and water, and the use of hand rub with 62% or more alcohol base, covering mouth and nose with tissue or the bend of your elbow when coughing or sneezing, and avoid touching your mouth, eyes or nose. We should all endeavor to protect ourselves and our families from COVID-19. This is Jamaica Magazine, and I'm Adrian Atkinson. The government has been working overtime to stem the spread of COVID-19 on the island. Containment measures include the imposition of a curfew from April 1 to 8 between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. the following day. Watch as the state shares more information on this and other measures.
Last week, we gave a direction to the Ministry of Health and the police force to work together with PICA and Custom to establish a list of persons who came into the island on or after the 18th of March, and that list is a comprehensive list, as comprehensive as we could get: name, passport number, and address. That list is then matched against those persons who have contacted the Ministry of Health, either through the telephone numbers which have been given, the email address which has been given, or the Jam COVID website. And we are now examining the records at the local health authorities in the various regions, because persons may have called in to those regions as well. And once we collate that, which we are now in the process of doing, we will take those persons off the list that we have of persons coming into the island. So now we will have a net list. Persons who have not reported are, at this point, and from the time they have not reported, in violation of the order that requires them to report, and violation of the law, that is the Disaster Risk Management Act, can result in a fine of up to $1 million and imprisonment. Most of the cases that we are seeing now are cases that have come into the island during the period that I have mentioned, that is between the 18th of March and the 24th. And the other cases are related to them. So the potential for spread and exponential spread is now directly related to that population that came into the island. Now, it is not all bad news. We have a record of 460 persons who have called in to the Ministry of Health. That number may grow as we search through the other databases. And I want to thank those people who exercise their good conscience, their good judgment, a high sense of patriotism, a high concern for individuals themselves and others, done their civic duty. They have isolated, stayed at home by themselves. They have sent home their home staff or other family members, sent them away. And they have reported their situation to the Ministry of Health. That is what we want to see our Jamaicans do. It pains my heart to having to read this, that we are going to have to go door to door to find, to literally pull resources from other areas which they are needed to do this, when all it requires is a simple phone call to 888-1-LOVE, or to go online to jamcovid19.moh.gov.jm and fill in the simple form. If everyone acts responsibly, we can keep our curve low. The government of Jamaica will extend the period of closure of our borders to incoming passenger traffic. We continue to refine protocols for the eventual controlled entry of Jamaicans. Additionally, the government of Jamaica, on the advice of the Ministry of Health, will extend the quarantine of the Corn Peace community for a further 14 days as it relates to the stay-in-place orders that have been given. People refer to them as the curfew orders that have been given. Let me say that I'm generally satisfied with how Jamaicans have responded. And I think all Jamaicans should have a sense of pride in how we have responded. Just that one act of staying home at night, when maybe we should all be staying home anyway, but that one act would have slowed transmission. And for those who would want to violate, for those who would want to show hubris that they can flout the law, the state of Jamaica is going to show with deliberateness that we can enforce our laws.
That we have completed the first phase of a sanitization and cleaning program of all our infirmaries and golden age homes across the country. We employed 100 additional temporary workers to maintain the cleaning program in the facilities, and this will be accommodated over the next 8 weeks. Additionally, we have installed all the mechanisms and washing and sanitizing facilities. We have put in the necessary infrastructure to ensure that the 1,700 residents in our infirmaries and golden age homes are kept in excellent condition. We have started the program to ensure that all persons, as we had said before, visiting the facilities go through the necessary checks and balances to ensure that they are in good health, and we still maintain the restrictions on visits and admissions to our infirmaries and homes over the period. On Sunday, we commenced the All-Island feeding program of the homeless communities through the length and breadth of Jamaica. And Prime Minister and colleagues, I want to advise you that so far we have provided breakfast and lunch for 10,000 such persons across the country, with the majority of those cases being in the corporate area. We are over 4,500 such persons in the corporate area have benefited from this. The ministry have also rolled out the program to take care of the outdoor poor, and I must say that within the first week of this program, we have reached some 22,000 Jamaicans who are registered as outdoor poor, including the 1,700 in our infirmaries. Colleagues, Jamaica, we have started the program to find shelter, and this is something that is of real concern, because since the imposition of a nightly curfew, we have discovered that there are many Jamaicans that was not counted in the numbers of persons that are homeless have now turned up on the streets. We have provided 100 bed solutions at a location on Church Street, which we activated last night. And this facility, as I said before, will facilitate 100 such persons, and also the Mary Atkins facility, which is running out of space. And Prime Minister, there is a need for us to pay some serious attention to this population. We have had roaming teams on the road, driving across the corporate area and to all the parishes where we find these persons. We take them to the facilities, provide them with a bath, food, change of clothes, medical checkup. So we are in fact doing all that we can. Just quickly, Prime Minister and colleagues, the new market regulations have been working. We are watching to see what is taking place in terms of the efforts to try to get this social distancing within the markets. We know it's going to be difficult, but we are working on it. We are working closely with the Ministry of Health and the Social Development Commission to set out the protocol around how our markets are operating. The markets have installed hand sanitizers, washing basins across all the markets, and by now, all markets across the country would have gone through a total sanitization program. So we are watching to see what is taking place within our markets. I want to also announce that the Ministry of Local Government have provided some $50 million to the local authorities for the trucking of water to all municipalities across the country, and this program is ongoing.
Persons who came into the island that we have no knowledge of their health status because they have not reported, and they are ill, and they are infectious, and even if they recover, they could still be shedding. And even before they show symptoms, they could be infecting. If those persons are moving around in the country and infecting other people, and then all of a sudden cases turn up, that you cannot connect these cases to other cases that you know about, and you start to see this in increasing numbers, then you would say that the virus is at large in the community. And that is when now we would say we have definitely community spread. That means anywhere you go, you could get the virus. That means we couldn't say that we are quarantining any area really, because it doesn't make sense, because it's all over. Then you would have to go now with a different strategy. To curb that now, that is when you would have to do what other countries have been forced to do, such as a total lockdown. So I hope people understand why it is that the government is being so strict on these other measures: social distancing, proper hygiene, stay at home, work from home, vulnerable stay home, so that we don't get to this community spread, where really the only tool to control the community spread would be to implement a lockdown. And we have tried our best. I think we have really exercised all our energies in this regard. But it really depends on what you do personally.
We know you want to be the best parent to your child, so we've decided to share some useful tips to make this a reality.
Wouldn't it be great if children came into the world so well adjusted or with manuals, therefore eliminating the need for parental discipline? This is not the case, however. Parents usually apply their methods or they depend on strategies taught throughout generations to guide their children.
8 in 10 Jamaican children in the 2 to 14 years age group experience violence as a form of discipline.
Coercive parenting involves the physical administration of pain as punishment. It also includes the use of harsh language that has the potential to hurt children's feelings and affect their general self-esteem and development. It also fosters aggression, because what you're really teaching children is that when there is an issue, we must resolve the issue through harshness, through aggression, through coarse language. There's a direct correlation between coercive parenting and the aggression that we see actually in society.
Damaging disciplinary practices have moved outside of the home and into the national consciousness.
The time has come for the Parliament to have a debate on this issue and finally declare corporal punishment at an end, both within public institutions and as a means of discipline available to parents. I think it would be a forward-leaning step in making a stance against violence generally, and it would send a powerful message about the state respecting the inviolability of the person, whether or not that person is a child or an adult.
Children need guidance, and many wonder if not with the rod, then how? Enter the National Parenting Support Commission, NPSC, an agency of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. The ministry established the commission in 2012 to provide parents with the requisite skills and tools to raise children.
We work at 3 tiers. We work at home, school, and community. Our first and most important priority, however, is to ensure that we're fostering the home-school relationship. We must ensure that parents as key stakeholders feel involved in the entire process of educating their children.
Now, to do this, the Commission assists parents in several ways, including providing psychosocial support, assisting parents with understanding the teaching-learning process, and conducting parenting education programs.
Through our effective parenting courses, we push proactive strategies. In other words, you are going to put structures in place before behaviors that you don't desire actually show.
Parents and guardians should consider the child's developmental stage when determining the best method of guidance.
A child who is very young, we encourage play. The child must be playing, and even the teaching learning processes must include play, because this is how they develop their imagination, their creative skills. This is how they also learn to resolve issues and to problem solve.
Young children, especially infants, are at the stage where they don't know right from wrong, and they can be impulsive. They may touch items that are valuable or dangerous. Usually, it is best to remove the child or the object from such a situation.
We don't believe you're to spank any at all, because that's a part of coercive parenting, and we don't believe that coercive parenting works. So what we encourage you to do, though, is to be firm and to be consistent. So if it means you have to say, do this instead, or do not go there 1,000,000 times, then that's what you have to be prepared to do.
The teenage years can challenge both children and parents. With the physical and chemical changes happening in the body, teens may act out as they may be unsure of their place in the world.
This can be a very difficult time to navigate. So we ask that you start relaxing some of the very stringent rules, and you also have conversations and you compromise.
And to address challenges, caregivers can remove privileges.
If the child becomes stubborn, has a fixed mindset, if you will, that this is what he or she is going to continue to do, then you might need professional help. You might need to call the commission, or you might need to call a social worker or a guidance counselor to help.
Being a proactive parent means setting clear boundaries, letting children know what is acceptable behaviors and why rules are in place. And don't forget to model behaviors you want young ones to display. There may not be a one-size-fits-all for raising children. By assessing the right information and using effective parenting techniques, we can nurture adults willing to play their part in making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. To tap into information from the National Parenting Support Commission, call 876-967-7977 or visit their offices at 37 Arnold Road, Kingston 6.
The safety and well-being of persons with special needs, such as the elderly and persons with disabilities, continues to be a major priority for us at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. We are making an impassioned plea to our senior citizens and persons with disabilities and their families and caregivers to exercise care and caution to protect themselves from this novel coronavirus. We are also urging all Jamaicans to be aware and follow the information from the health authorities. Wash and sanitize your hands regularly and practice social distancing. If you have any queries or special need assistance, please contact our toll-free COVID-19 emergency lines 888-429-5657-9. And you can WhatsApp us on 876-582-8988. We have a responsibility to work together and ensure that we have a healthy and safe environment for all of us in Jamaica.
Even as Jamaica steps up its fight against COVID-19, government is also scaling up activities to tackle incidents of domestic violence. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, call 876-553-0372 or 876-553-0387 for help.
Growing up, I've seen my father flip over the simplest of things. He would basically change from an angel to a devil in a flash. I remember this instance. My mom told me that she was coming home from work one evening because she worked very close to where he lived. She was coming home from work, and usually when you're leaving work, it's a lot of persons leaving at the same time, and she was talking to one of her co-workers and she smiled at him. He smiled back and my father saw that, and when she went home, he was ready for her. He was like, "Oh, see, I smile at my pan the road, you smile at my pan the road." He beat her, he stripped her naked, and he chased her in front of the yard so all her co-workers could see. So all her co-workers could see her.
Domestic abuse or domestic violence is not just physical abuse. The physical abuse basically for us is the end product coming from somewhere else. So you have stalking, you have intimidation, you have threat, you have psychological abuse, the ones that I'll tell you, I play on your emotions as to what I can do.
It was known to everybody that this was the type of person she was dating, this was the type of man he was. Even the security at the gate, the manager, everyone. So it's not like her life was a secret. She could not have any friends. He was the only person she could talk to, go anywhere with. If someone even talked to her and she not acknowledging them, she would get beaten for that. The least good thing, he would flip on her.
Usually, persons who are perpetrators of domestic violence are usually men, and usually they are persons who were controlling over their intimate partners. They tend to have a high level of jealousy, and they tend to be very possessive. And as such, you find that they will have a pattern of behavior where they will always check where the partner is by various means, whether by calling the person, asking the person where they are, also want to know who are they communicating with. So are they communicating persons on email, WhatsApp, other social media platform? They also want to make sure that they know where they are at all times and that they're not interacting with other persons outside. So they tend to want to have them stay home, for example, and lose connection with their families and friends.
As community members, we have a moral responsibility that within our homes and within our communities, once we are aware that there are instances of domestic abuse and domestic violence and we seek help, best place to go? To the police. Ask the police to intervene. Intervention can be that the police directs the victim to a counseling center, because we have partnership with churches, right? We have partnership with other organizations, Justices of the Peace, counselors.
Every time she escaped him, he would either stalk her, chase her, go to her either friend's house, wherever she went, friend's house, mother's house, cousin's house, no matter where she went, he would find her, go for her with a gun, knife, machete, whatever it may be, and she would always have to go back with him. No one, no matter how much they try to fight and help her, he would always get her back. And when she goes back with him, the beating got worse, the abuse got worse, the rape got worse, everything got worse.
Domestic Violence Intervention Centers, one of those facilities that were donated by the U.S. Embassy, and it's a partnership between the JCF and the U.S. Embassy, to create a facility where persons can come and speak about domestic violence and domestic abuse related issues within their home. And so it's a safe space for both victims and perpetrator. And it offers counseling to family members, to victims, also to perpetrators. We have 2 centers that are currently operational. One is at the Matilda's Corner Police Station. You can call the Matilda's Corner Police Station for that. The other one is at Air 5 Headquarters. That's on the same compound as Constant Spring Police Station. The number is 702-5120 or 702-5121.
We also have available mental health and suicide helpline. And this helpline is a 24-hour service, which is toll-free, where persons can call. So it can be either persons calling on behalf of others that they have been exposed to domestic violence. So the helpline is toll-free and it's 888-NEW-LIFE, which is 888-639-5433. And the 24-hour service, 7 days per week.
If you know someone is being abused, say something, do something.
And that's where we leave you on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Stay on top of all the useful COVID-19 related information. Visit jis.gov.jm. Follow us on all the major social media sites, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or download our mobile app that's smartphone compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.